So, all right, with the next start approaching our senior men, let's talk a little bit about the sprint day ahead of us. Our first heat is going to be our top qualifier of the day, followed by our 10th qualifier, 11th qualifier, 20th, 21st, and 30th. They often put the first qualifier in the first heat to give him a little bit, or her, a little bit more rest going into the semifinals and then into the finals. This just allows the top qualifier to have a little bit more of an advantage throughout the day.
And Pierre, can you tell me what they do with that whiteboard? Do you know what goes out there? And the athletes will probably be very interested in that. I haven't actually ever done a sprint event, so maybe you know a little bit more about how that runs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the whiteboard is just for the organizers at the start to write down the heats to come. They'll write down the bib numbers with a marker and oftentimes names too, so that athletes can go look at exactly what heat they're in and when it will start, and so it just allows them to know exactly when they need to present themselves to the start line.
And what did you usually do between your qualifier and your first heat? Did you just sit in a corner, or do you run around? What do athletes tend to do between that period of time between the qualifier and the heat?
Yeah, sprint days are a little odd like that because you have multiple races in a day. So what you want to do is you want to flush the lactate acid as fast as possible, but you also don't want to cool down too much and just get too lethargic sitting in a chair. So you want to stay a little mobile, and oftentimes on big races like this, teams will have physios or masseuses just come and just give the athletes a little leg rub to just kind of shake it up and keep the muscles active. And then you want to have a good warm-up going into the quarterfinals because you've been sitting around for a little while and you want to be able to fire right off the line. Athletes will also have a little bit of a snack, but nothing too big because you don't want to be too heavy going into the heats as well, because that could also cause problems, especially later in the day.
Okay, and I see bibs are being given out in the stadium at a table in front of the whiteboard. So if you need a bib for your heats coming up, bibs are being given out. And we are how many minutes away from the first heat?
We're about 3 minutes away from the first heat, so we'll let the starters take over here so we can give them a little bit of quiet and space to do what they have to do. And then we'll pick up right when they get going. Good luck to all the athletes.
Excellent. So we can hear you loud and clear, so you just keep giving us the feed. And can you tell me roughly how many meters out from the start you are?
More or less.
Okay.
With the francophones.
Okay, just give me a minute.
Okay. Next start's going to go out in I'd say a minute or two.
Geraldo at the top of the stadium.
Usually they need about...
Sorry, could you repeat that, Henry?
About 100 meters.
Thank you very much. And Henry, we won't reply, but you are coming through loud and clear, so you just keep giving us the info. So guys, what I've got a guy on course. He's just beyond the start, okay, like 100, 150 meters, something like that. All he's going to say is clean start. Or he's going to say 2 guys fell with broken poles, like whatever.
Okay.
Just super short stuff. And then I've got another guy at the top of the hill up here.
Okay.
On the same radio thing. We're just going to sit this in the corner. I'll turn it low enough that we can hear it, but that it won't interfere with our mics. And they'll just keep giving us feed. Especially this guy. He'll say let's call it, he's 300 meters from the finish of the race. He's going to tell us the bib numbers that are coming. Okay?
And should we do like a little introduction for all of them, kind of?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, you want to cover that? You got the names there?
Sure.
And stuff?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
I mean, once they're, you can say they're off and away, and these are skiers X, Y, Z, whatever.
Are we gonna have like live results on that?
Yeah, we are.
This one, no?
Not this one.
Not this one.
I think it's going to be on this one, and this is the first heat right here. So I'm assuming it'll come up with this stuff.
Only 5 athletes.
So someone didn't start.
And we're off. First heat of the day. All 6 of them look like a relatively clean start here. They're going to go up Berry Hill, and then we'll get another feed about any carnage on the hill. But so far, it looks pretty clean. In this heat, we have our top qualifier, Léo Grandbois, Félix-Olivier Moreau with a bib 10, Rye Pryor, bib 11, Aiden Hay, bib 20, Max Mahaffey, bib 21, and Charles Duhem, bib 30.
And Pierre, we just had some feed from the trail here, and a couple hundred meters into the race, bib number 1 and bib number 11 are the leaders. Those are?
That would be Léo Grandbois, bib number 1, and Rye Pryor, bib 11. Not too surprising to see Léo take it out hard. After all, he was top qualifier with a very fast time and a large margin, so he'll be wanting to control this race and stay out of trouble on the downhill and then be able to have a clean line going into the final climb.
So our course here today is 1.3 kilometers, 1,300 meters. And Brooke, times that we should expect for these skiers coming back in, roughly?
Well, Leo's top qualifying time was 2 minutes and 45 seconds. So it'll depend on the heat and how much he's pushed. But I agree with Pierre that he'll want to stay out of trouble. So it'll probably be a pretty fast time coming in here. And the snow has stopped, so it won't be slowing down any out there.
So 1,300 meter course. And to recap those names again, Pierre?
Yeah, Léo Grandbois, Félix-Olivier Moreau, Rye Pryor, Aiden Hay, Max Mahaffey, and Charles Duhem. And we're seeing them go up Pilon's Hill right now. No confirmation of who is leading currently.
So we have maybe probably not much more than a minute to go, Brooke. But the course, especially that one climb, what's it all about?
So they're probably on Pilons right now, which is a real grind, and luckily it's 3 across, so they can pass if needed, and that's where all the action's going to happen. So if you're interested in seeing climbing up, so these are the results coming in. Looks like they're over the top of the hill, and it's leading. Bib 11 was leading.
So that's Rye Pryor is leading, and then in second spot
we have Léo Grandbois, but it looks like they're all coming through the finish pretty tight. It looks like there's a little bit of a gap between the 3 of them. Léo just coming up beside Rye, and Filou just in 3rd there, but he'll lunge, hopefully getting a lucky loser spot. There's Max in 4th, and Aiden Hay in 5th, and Charles in 6th. Great job, boys, and then we shall see the second heat start in about 1 minute, so we will let the starters do their
magic.
There's a message that's coming from one of the heats. Do you want me to just pass it to you to announce before
Sure.
they start? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll do that. Yeah.
We'll try and work it in.
Go Lakers. That's Joe Hutton and Alex Maycock, and the message is from Stephanie
Watching the spectators up the hill, down the hill.
And Henry and Araldo, I won't be on the radio much, but I just wanted to say that feed is coming in real strong. It's just booming here into the office, so it's real strong. Keep up the good work. And I think, Pierre, that worked really well. They get underway, you announce the names and whatnot. Here we go.
And we're off. Second heat of the day. Bib 4, Alexis Morin. Bib 7, Eric Schleider. Bib 14, Alexandre Cormier. Bib 17, Alexis Hermel. 24, Xavier Lefebvre. And 27, Mats Halverson. And it looks like Alexis Morin and Eric Schleider are currently leading the race, going up Berry Hill. So we shall see if the times compare to the first heat and how it plays out. We can see the crowd starting to move towards the finish line and the first hill as the race shifts and progresses. Important reminder that if you are 3rd or 4th in your heat, don't give your bib back quite yet. There are still lucky loser possibilities. Just a reminder, if you are third or fourth in your heat, do not return your bib until you have confirmation about the lucky loser times. Looks like 6 of them all together still as they're going down the hill. They're about to get back to the toilet bowl and then start the uphill of pylons. And here we go. They've just started the pylons climb. Quite close, all 6 of them still together. Just going up the steep pitch here now.
Yeah, looking like they're really all bunched together on the pylons climb. We have a feed coming into the announcing booth showing the skiers on the climb. Everybody's still grouped together. So they should be approaching the stadium momentarily.
Got about 45 seconds. It looks like one skier is pulling away. Not quite clear enough to be able to tell who it is quite yet. We'll wait for them to come into the stadium. This is really where athletes will really start to pull away from the rest of the pack, Jim. When they go up the second part of the climb, it starts to flatten out, and when your legs are already burning and they're just going to be fighting. So it looks like 7. Eric Schleider is leading, Alexis Morin in second, but it's still a group of them coming in to the finish. Eric looks like he is 2-skating pretty smoothly. Oh, and a little crash there. Somebody is down. We'll get a confirmation about what bib that was. That is disappointing, but it is bib 7 and 4 who will get the automatic qualifiers. 27, Mats Halverson in third, and 24, Xavier Lefebvre in fourth. Bib 14 will be crossing the line in fifth, and 17, that is a disappointing fall, and it will be crossing the line in sixth.
So to recap there, Pierre, 1 and 2 were?
Bib 7 and Bib 4 were 1 and 2 their automatic qualifiers onto the semifinals.
So Bib 7 was Eric Schleiter, local skier, and then Bib 4, Alexis Morin, and Alexis skis with?
Skis with Quebec, Skibec, out of Quebec City. And we've got heat number 3 lining up right now. We have Sacha Masson, Parker Court-Rathwell, Nick Randall, Quinn O'Shea, Jeremy Lantz, and Nathan Weeman.
And we'll just move to silence here just for a moment or two to allow the starters to do their thing.
And they're off. So this is heat number 3 on course right now. That is Sacha Masson, Parker Court-Rothwell, Nick Randall, Quinn O'Shea, Jeremy Lantz, and Nathan Weeman. And Bib 6 and Bib 5 seem to be leading the race right now, Jim.
Yeah, that's a couple hundred meters out on the course. Bib 6 and Pierre, Bib 6 was?
Parker Court-Rathwell.
And he is followed by Bib 5.
Which is Sacha Masson out of White Horse.
And no word about any hookups or anything. The start got away clean.
Most athletes in the quarterfinals, Jim, will be wanting to really just stay out of trouble and keep their own line. No real carnage should be seen on the first hill in the quarterfinals. Everybody will really just want to keep it calm.
And the next group of starters, Brooke, those starters are?
In heat number 4, Erickson Moore, Guillaume Pelchet, Max Holman, Ivor Dragon, Alex Charbonneau, and Tobias Quinn will be starting in the heat number 4.
And that's at 12:27 time of day, Thunder Bay time. So back to this current heat. Sacha Masson, Parker Court-Rothwell, Nicholas Randall, Quinn O'Shea, Jeremy Lentz, and Nathan Wyman.
And they're coming around Toilet Bowl downhill. They're just starting the P-lines uphill, all bunched together again. They may be sorting themselves out as they get further up the hill.
And Brooke, this looks similar to that last race, all bunched together on the climb, maybe a couple off the back just by 5 or 10 meters. And our next point of reference will be at, it's a 1,300 meter course, our next point of reference will be at about the 900 meter mark.
Can you stop talking to yourself? Mic off. So one of the problems we had at the last event was the starter. He needs you guys to be quiet. So how do you want to do that?
Well, we stopped every time.
We've stopped each time.
She's radioing me in a panic.
Two
So
minutes prior? 2
You
minutes
guys
prior?
maybe give her 2 minutes. So that
Okay.
means you're only talking for 2 minutes at a time.
Okay, sounds
But
good.
really, she's just been like calling me in a panic.
Okay, all right. We'll endeavor to do that. Yeah,
Okay,
sounds
thank
good.
you.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah, and so you're going to...
We have Sacha Masson coming in relatively smooth with a little bit of a lead here, and Nick Randall coming into second. You better watch out. He doesn't want to get nicked at the line by Parker. And in fourth, we have bib 16, Quinn O'Shea, and fifth, bib 26, Jeremy Nathan Weeman, and in sixth, Jeremy Lance.
So who is next?
Heat 4.
We announced them already, so yeah.
So when you come to heat 5,
Oh, yeah.
that's what's happening. If
Okay.
To do all those shout outs.
Yeah, just those two. It's Alexander Maycock and Joe Hutton from the same person.
From Stephanie Hutton?
Yeah.
Okay, from the Lakers? Oh, that's from
Yeah.
the Lakers?
And I'll get that back from you.
Okay, yeah. So pretty much as soon as the previous
the
heat
line.
crosses the line, we just announce the order and then cut
Yeah.
it and then
Yeah, and so Linda's going to keep us honest,
okay.
and she may even announce, Kate, in the middle of everything, we're shutting down.
And we're off for heat number 4. Erickson Moore, bib number 2. Guillaume Pelchat, bib number 9. Bib 12, Max Holman. Bib 13, Ivar Drangarengen. Bib 22, Alex Charbonneau. And bib 29, Tobias Quinn. So we have heard that bib 22 and bib 19, so Ivar and Alec are taking it off strongly off the start.
So our next start will be in roughly 4 minutes. So we will shut down on the audio approximately 2 minutes prior to the start. And we have our team member, Linda Boyven, who kind of controls us on that and will shut us down 2 minutes prior to each start. But currently, we have a heat out there, and we should see them coming up the Pilons climb here momentarily.
And in heat number 5, we have bib number 3, Julian Locke, bib number 8, Alexander Maycock, bib number 13, Julian Smith, bib 18, Louis Bibot, 23, Joe Hutton, and 28, Chase High. That's the next heat lining up heat number 5.
And we have a message from Stephanie Hutton to Alexander Maycock and Joe Hutton. Let's go Lakers. So good luck, boys, in this heat.
And Pierre, we just saw the skiers take off for the downhill, and on this video feed in the announcing booth, here they come up the Pilons climb. They are all grouped together.
Yeah, they're right on the very steep pitch here. Everybody's offsetting and really putting in a surge to start off the hill. It looks like Guillaume Pelchat in the Centre d'Entraînement CNF is leading the climb right now.
And just entering this top portion of the climb, it flattens out just slightly, but I really, flatten is the wrong word.
2 minutes the next start, 2 minutes au prochain départ.
So we muted?
19,
Okay.
9, 2.
Need a pen. Thanks. So what I think we'll do is it's hardcore. They're on us big time.
Yeah.
So I think what we'll do, let's try and recap the top 3 finishers and replay it.
Yeah.
Yeehaw. can announce this start here coming up. And I don't see any results coming up either.
Oh, Maxwell did not start.
So I saw
It looked, yeah, I didn't
he was
count
all
that.
dressed up, and I was like, is he getting ready? Oh.
Alright, it's on the line. Okay, so we're gonna do it.
You know, same format. Same format. Yeah, I'll get the recap of the guys that finished. You do the start.
And we are off. We have Julian Locke, Alex Maycock, Julian Smith, Louis Bibot, Joe Hutton, and Chase High in this fifth and final quarterfinal up for the senior men.
And in this, the previous heat,
13 and 18.
And right now we have Julian Smith and Louis Bibot leading the race going up Barry Hill. They'll be wanting to control that as well, keep out of trouble, and really punch it up the final hill. Now Jim's going to recap the previous heat, what we had for results.
yeah, what we had for results, the top three in that previous heat were Ivor Dragaringen, Guillaume Pelchat, and Ericsson Moore. A little difficult to tell who actually crossed first. It was a bit of a fray there, but the top three in that previous heat were Ivor Dragaringen, Guillaume Pelchat, and Ericsson Moore.
Yeah, it looked like Ericsson had a little bit of a lead on the other two, but close lunge between Guillaume and Ivar, and we will wait to see the lucky loser times.
It's 12:32, and senior women are starting at 12:35. So you have 3 minutes, senior women, to get into the stadium and get ready for your first heat. Heat number 1, Olivia Buffet-Nisbet, 31. Bib 40, Ellie Ann Tremblay. Bib 41, Maggie McClure. Bib 50, Leah Rates. And 51, Stella Duncan, and 60, Chloe Koch. That's the first heat for senior women.
It's 2 minutes. Yeah, so it's like you can see, it's like 34,
It's every 4 minutes.
and it's 32 right now.
So we have 2 minutes to say stuff, and then
And so it's
we
the
have to cut.
instructions that
Yeah.
they can't hear.
Yeah.
So they're giving instructions right now. That's why.
Yeah, and whoever's doing starts kind of lost it there and was flipping out because we were announcing and stuff. So
8.
13-3. You do it then, if we ever get around to it. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
So now the lucky loser times should be somewhat finalized.
So I would announce the start once they go, and then recap this last one. And what you can announce is where we're at in the whole thing. You could do it in English, you could do it in French. But there's 3 minutes to the next start, 2 minutes to the next. Just you control the times so that everybody in the booth and out there is aware. Okay, guys.
And we're off for the first senior women's heat of the day, the first quarterfinal. We have our top qualifier, Olivia Bouffard-Nesbitt, bib 40, Eliane Tremblay, bib 41, Maggie McClure, bib 50, Leah Wright, bib 51, Stella Duncan, and bib 60, Chloe Koch.
Bib 41, bib 31.
And we have Maggie McClure and Olivia starting the charge, and the lead in the race going up, Barry Hill. And
40 fell.
Jim, we had the results of the heat number 5. We had Julian Locke come in across the line first, Julian Smith closely following him, and Alexander Maycock, in third. So we shall see the lucky loser times now that all the men's heats have gone through, and we will see who will be advancing into the semifinals.
Give that one more go round there, Pierre.
We had Julian Locke in first, Julian Smith in second, Alexander Maycock in third.
And there was somebody that fell in this heat that is on the course currently. Within 300 meters of the start, somebody fell, but I didn't catch the bib number. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, so guys, we're muted to the stadium, but not online. I'll double check that. Okay, so I think we can keep going, and in fact, we don't have to douse for the 2-minute thing. But let me just check. Okay.
That just doesn't make any sense. Well, if we're muted, can I say something now? Because they're on the hill. Can we say something on about?
Just keep it going.
And so now the first women's heat is on the hill. All 6 of them relatively bunched up, and we can't quite see who is leading right now, but all 6 of them quite together.
2 minutes au prochain départ. 2 minutes the next start.
Linda, thanks for keeping us on track here. So 2 minutes to that next start, and Brooke, those next starters are.
'34, Amelia Wells. 30.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, Brooke. Sorry. Yeah. I thought she was going to do awards, so my mistake.
Well, she was, and then
31,
Sorry, Brooke.
50,
My mistake.
40.
31, 50, 40. Oh, there's Linda. Keeping us on our toes here. Once you hear your voice, you're like, oh, that's not good.
So let's get the order.
31, 50, oh, 40, 41, 51,
Okay.
and then 60.
Feel free to do that start once they go.
Is that, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4 academy seats?
I'll go.
And Senior Women's Heat 2 has just started. We have bib 34, Amelia Wells, 37, Anna Stewart, 44, Clara Barrington-Craig, 47, Sophie Tremblay, 54, Katya Semenyak, and 57, Sienna Brennan-Raab. We have 5 women representing the academy from Canmore, the Alberta World Cup Academy. Just shows you how strong their female program is right now. And it looks like they were out clean. We have all 6 of them making it up the hill without falling. And we have the results from the previous heat. We had Olivia Bouffard-Nesbitt leading the way, and who was in second and third there, Jim?
So we had number 50, Leah Wright, in second spot, and then bib number 40, Eliane Tremblay, in third spot.
And so just a reminder, if you were third or fourth, hold on to your bib until we get the final lucky loser confirmations.
And in heat number 3, we have 35, Katie Weaver, 36, Michaela Keller-Miller, 45, Emmanuel Simard, 46, Jill Stevens, 55, Sophie Corcoran, and 56, Kara Picos.
And now that we have the lucky loser times for the men, we could see who is going to be in semifinal number 1 and who is going to be in semifinal number 2. So in semifinal number 1, who do we have here?
We have Leo Grambois, Sasha Masson, Eric Schleider, Alexis Morin, Rai Pryor, and Ivar Dragarin. And in number 2, heat number 2,
Number 2, we have number 2, Erickson Moore. Number 3, Julian Locke. Number 9, Guillaume Pelchat. Number 13, Julian Smith. 15, Nick Randall. And 8, Alexander Maycock. So those will be our 12 athletes in the men's semifinal heats. And as we can see in the feed right now,
2 minutes au prochain départ, 2 minutes next start.
Thanks. That's good. It keeps us honest and whatever.
Sorry.
No, it's better.
It's better that way if you just cut
Totally.
off.
So this is 3.
Totally.
So I announced the names, so you just
Yeah.
have to do that.
Oh, that's going to be for
That's
heat 4.
4. Okay.
Okay, where are we at? So you're going to do the start?
I can do the start,
Yeah. Okay.
If we announce the names, since we have such short time, if we announce them in the previous heat, should we redo it or should we talk about something else?
That's what I would think.
What do you
I
figure?
think we should talk about something
Yeah,
else.
same here. Yeah. Okay.
So instead
Plus
of highlighting,
it's confusing.
yeah,
Yeah.
we can just go straight into previous heats.
Yeah.
And then
34, 37.
But we can't say it. Shit. Anybody know where Amelia Wells is from?
I don't know where she's from.
Because those are the two.
She's from BC.
Amelia Wells, Anna Stewart. 34, 37.
Is from Nakratuck.
Okay.
She's from Thunder Bay. She races for that.
Okay, so it is 34, 37,
Yeah, 34, 37.
and 54. Okay, got it. I'll recap those guys.
Okay. It's 5 Academy and 1 Nakatosh. Okay. We'll just say we're off and then we can talk about
Sounds good. Yeah.
And we're off. Heat number 3 has just begun their quarterfinal. Who do we have in the previous heat order of finish? Did we have Jim?
Yeah, so in that previous finish, number 1, Amelia Wells.
And bib 35.
Number 2, Anna Stewart. Number 3, Katja Semenuk. So real quick recap in that previous heat. First, Amelia Wells. Second, Anna Stewart. Third, Katja Semenuk.
And we just heard that bib 45 and 35 were currently leading quarterfinal number 3. That would be Katie Weaver and Emmanuel Simard.
And that bit of info comes from about, let's call it the 300-meter mark on the course. We're not hearing anything about broken poles or anything. Looks like a clean start.
Yeah, we get that information just from the top of Barry Hill. It's where the course narrows for the first time, where skiers will come together, and oftentimes there will be clashes. That's where athletes will have requested their coaches and support staff to be with spare poles just in case something happens. And that's a huge part of sprinting is if a pole breaks, you need one as soon as possible, Jim. So you want to have staff almost everywhere or close to almost everywhere in those key places on course.
And Brooke, there's one heck of a downhill, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a twisty, turny downhill. They're probably going through it right now. We haven't picked them up coming around the toilet bowl yet. So we should have them coming down around the turns. We see them right now. They're just going to come around the last turn from the toilet bowl and be heading up Pilon's Hill. So they will be here shortly.
Wait a minute. The toilet bowl? What?
That's the name of the downhill coined by Lappy. So it's the toilet bowl downhill. It's the bottom, and it kind of swishes down just like a toilet bowl, and you go around the last turn.
So here they come up the climb. This is Pilon's Hill, and all 6 of them together.
2 minutes au prochain départ, 2 minutes the next start.
Okay, I quit. I'm going home. No, the worst was when I thought they were going to do awards.
Well,
she stands up there.
only Para had awards so far. That didn't make any sense.
No, that was my fault. But then she only talked for 30 seconds. But excusez-moi. Do you want this chair book?
No, I'm okay. I'm good for now.
No, I think we're sort of getting it down
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
We get the information when we can.
36.
We have 1 minute and 59 seconds, then we have to. Okay, here we go. It looks like Katie Weaver bib 35.
Yeah, let's definitely get this.
Somebody have a
Yeah, I got it. I'm doing it. You say them, I'll write them.
handed, so it's really tough. 35, 36, and then 46, 45, and then 56, and then what would be the last one? 55.
Okay, got it.
Don't forget when you announce them.
Yep.
Do the shout out.
She won't even hear it. And heat number 4 is away. In this heat, we have bib 32, Sonia Smith, bib 39, Marley Molinaro, bib 42, Alexandra Luxmore, 49, Emily Drake, 52, Sarah Cullinan, 59, Chloe Ranahan. And a big shout out to Alexandra Luxmore from Revelstoke Nordic. Big shout out from BC and Nova Scotia. Your parents, your brother, Nona are all cheering for you. Have a great race. Best of luck, Alexandra.
And in that previous heat, finish order is as follows. 1, Katie Weaver. 2, Michaela Keller-Miller. 3, Jill Stephen. 4, Emmanuel Simard. 5, Cara Picos. And 6, Sophie Cochran. So the top 3 again, Katie Weaver, Michaela Keller-Miller, and Jill Stephen in number 3 spot.
Yeah, and we had some great lunges there. We saw athletes really give it all the way to the line, and that's super important in sprint racing because every second, every fraction of a second counts in these races. It comes down to the wire if you're going to advance to the semifinals or to the finals.
And Pierre, the times themselves, not so important. What's important is the finish order.
Yeah, the finish order for the top 2 is obviously the automatic qualifiers, but the time actually is quite important for those 3rd and 4th finishers, but really only for them. So it's a weird limbo in sprint racing because the top 2 don't care about the times, whereas 3, 4 really do, and 5 and 6, unfortunately, there is no way to progress. But yeah, so it's everybody's kind of aiming for different things. There's different tactics that play out, and that's what's exciting about sprint racing.
So skiers heading for the climb. They've headed down the toilet bowl, and they're headed for the climb. Here they come up the climb, all bunched together. Doesn't look like any stragglers here. Everybody together, skiing sort of 2 skiers across.
2 minutes the next start, 2 minutes au prochain départ.
Yeah, we're going to have to try and get more information across.
Well, I was gonna.
Sorry, what was that?
No, I was gonna say it'd be nice to get into like what's this lucky loser thing all about.
Yeah,
Oh, sure.
It's
Oh, that's good. Okay, I'll give you back this one then.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
No. Well, I,
Yeah.
really don't have enough time to do it. I thought we would have time.
I know. It's like, yeah.
just a kind of a shout out to the guys on the radio. We are reading you loud and clear, and the info is super useful. So keep it coming.
After the next start, there's a senior men's.
Trying to recap 3 minutes later. Senior men's?
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause it's
after the next. Yeah.
because it's T5.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good
who
one.
did that? Was it
So,
49?
okay, 32, 39, 42.
But I'd say 42, 39, we won't know for a while.
Okay,
Yeah, it was a
okay,
photo.
okay.
So 32 and then 4 between 39
Okay.
and 42.
We can announce these tomorrow.
At 8 a.m.
And we're off for our 5th and final senior women's quarter final. We have Marielle Ackerman, bib 33, Bronwyn Williams, bib 38, Natalie Wilkie, bib 43, bib 48 is Hannah Shields, bib 53, and Sophie Miron, bib 58, Emma Holmes. And we have Marielle Ackerman and Bronwyn Williams leading the charge right now up Berry Hill, and so far, no carnage. Would we like to recap the previous heat's finish, Jim? It was very fascinating.
Yeah, the previous finish, number 1, Sonia Schmidt, but number 2 and 3 positions were from just our position near the finish line. Pretty much a even Steven between Marley Molinaro and Alexandra Luxmoor. So Sonia Schmidt won, 2 and 3 undecided between Marley Molinaro and Alexandra Luxmoor.
Yeah, we'll have to wait for the photo finish images. The race office will be getting that information out as soon as possible. A great race by both of those athletes, really fighting it out to the line. And our next heat is our men's first senior final, semi-final, sorry. And we will have bib 1, bib 5, bib 7, bib 4, bib 11, and 19. So that is our next heat. It is our senior men's first semi-final. And it looks like the current quarterfinal has just reached the bottom of the Pelons climb. And here they go. They are starting the first steep pitch of Pelons. It looks like 5 of them together. One skier maybe a few meters off the back of the pack, but still quite bunched up. We have Natalie Wilkie in this heat, a member of the Paranordic national ski team, and she will be one of the favorites for the heat.
2 minutes au prochain départ. 2 minutes to next start.
Yeah, it's still 4 minutes.
Still 4 minutes.
Still 4 minutes until after. Actually, we'll have a 6
There's a break
minute.
after the senior women.
Okay.
20 minute
Sorry, no,
break.
2:55 is
Oh yeah,
before
there is no.
There's a 6 minute gap, but after the men's second semi, there's 6 minutes. So we'll have an extra
yep.
4
Can't we
minutes.
say that the senior men's are semifinals?
I don't know. They might be calling. them.
Well, how many minutes to that start?
What's that?
45.
Yeah, but we're on
2
to
minutes
this
now.
Two. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Less than 2 minutes.
They do. Okay. I don't. We don't have it printed.
What did he say? Was that
These guys are going through.
Can you? Do you mind scribbling that first feed that comes in from Barry's Hill? Do you mind scribbling it? Because it'll. We're busy recapping and
Yeah.
stuff, and we get lost. And there's pens lying all over the place. Yeah. Okay.
I can't use this one.
And then you can just tell, or you just announce it. Just announce it. Whatever.
Oh, here we go. Okay, ready? Bib 33, Marielle Ackerman, and bib 43, Natalie Wilkie, and then bib 38, Bronwyn Williams, bib 48, Hannah Shields, and
Okay. Well, that does us. That'll get us going.
women's left users. Starting to snow a little again.
53.
And we're up and away, and the first of the senior men's semifinals is away. But first, let's recap the previous heat that we just had, the final women's quarterfinal, Jim?
So number 1 spot,
11 and bib
Marielle Ackerman, number 1 spot in that previous heat. Bronwyn Williams, number 3 in that last heat. Number 2, Natalie Wilkie. So Marielle Ackerman, number 1, Natalie Wilkie, number 2, Bronwyn Williams, number 3.
And leading up Barry's Hill in the Open Men's first semifinal was bib 11, which was Rye Pryor, followed closely by bib 5, Sasha Masson. So those were the leaders up Barry's Hill in the heat number 1 Open Men.
And Brooke, just for the online viewers who, they're not into the local terminology, Barry's Hill and whatnot, would that be a couple hundred meters out on course, 300 meters, or?
Yeah, all the spectators can see it right there. It's the tree-lined hill leading out of the stadium. So at the top is where it kind of narrows a bit. It's quite wide up there, and then we're getting results from a course controller out there telling us who's leading at that point.
So that'd be at about the 300-meter mark, let's call it. Now the skiers are well past that. They are headed down this toilet bowl, really rock and roll downhill. It gets really tight in there. You really got to be on your toes to stay stable. And now we can see them on our video feed in the announcing booth that all of them again bunched up, and Pierre looks like 2 abreast coming up that hill.
Yeah, pylons will always be 2 abreast. It's wide enough that you can give yourself the space on either side, even 3 if you need to. But the semifinal is gonna be it's our first semifinal, so athletes will have already gone on course in a heat. They will have tried out some tactics. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't work, and they'll be able to decide if they want to change it up or stick with it.
2 minutes to next start, 2 minutes au prochain départ.
After this one, we have more time.
Okay.
1, 3, 1, 5.
It'll be the 6 minutes, don't we? Yeah, so after the next heat at 59, there'll be 6 minutes before the senior women's from 59 to 05.
1-5-11. 1-5-11. 1-5-11, I would call it.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are these guys? What am I? I got a screwed up start list. Yeah. Okay. Right on there. Yeah.
First semifinal is gone. Just finished. This is the second one.
I'll see if I can get paper copies of this.
Was that only 5? Oh, yeah. What happened to this?
You obviously
Somehow.
see it.
Yeah. We haven't announced this heat yet either.
No.
Shoot.
Right off the start, you can do it. Do you have
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
trying to get a paper copy.
I got it.
You got it on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Erickson, Julian, Guillaume, Julian.
No paper. It's gonna be
He's
off
got
here.
it on his phone.
I've got it on my phone.
Yeah.
You
And,
got one,
yeah.
so.
It's all good. Yeah.
Worst comes to worst, I can ping it based on what I recognize.
True enough. Suits are helpful.
And we're off for the second semifinal for our senior men. So we have Erickson Moore, bib 2, Julian Locke, bib 3, Guillaume Pelchat, bib 9, Julian Smith, bib 13, Nick Randall, 15, and 8, Alexander Maycock. And so bib 2, that would be Erickson Moore, and bib 15, that is Nick Randall. So 2 NTDC boys leading it off right now. And let's talk a little bit about home course advantages, because we have 3 local NTDC skiers in this heat, Jim.
Yeah, so I mean, these guys that ski locally, especially the development center skiers, are skiing at Lappy a tremendous amount. There's a number of ski areas around Thunder Bay, but they want the brawny terrain. They're not into skiing the flat stuff, so they tend to ski Lappy. They know these climbs and downhills really, really well. So there's no question they do have a bit of a home advantage here.
Yeah, just the difference between knowing where to push, where to pull and how to stay low is just a great advantage going into nationals races. And for athletes that ski hundreds of kilometers on these trails every year and knowing every single corner and weave and area where the snow might be softer, it's really helpful when it comes down to snap second decisions.
And Pierre, it's these, especially this course they're on today with the terrain in there. It really reminds me of Mont Saint Anne. Plenty of terrain in there, lots of twists and turns, really well designed in Mont Saint Anne. And this is in a way it's kind of similar.
Yeah, I mean it's ultimately off of just one hill when you actually look at the profile of Lappy. It's just the backside. You go down and you come back up. And some hills are a little bit steeper. For example, Pilons being one of the hardest hills of the Lappy ski circuit. And it's really great to be able to utilize that in so many events, being so close to the finish. And so we just see them coming up Pilons right now as the awards for para-athletes are being presented in the stadium. It looks all pretty bunched up right now, all 6 of them together. We have bib 2, Ericsson Moore, who seems to have a little bit of a lead, and bib 3, Julian Locke, is in second. We see them coming down the final hill, Jim.
Couple hundred meters to go.
Yeah, we have a big gap, actually, for a semifinal. We have Ericsson very calmly can just take his time, start his recovery already for the final, just cruise into the finish line, keeping an eye over his shoulder. And then we have Julian Locke also doing the same. And in a battle for third, Alex Maycock looks like he's going to take it in front of Guillaume Pelchat. And then we have Nick Randall, who is coming in fifth. And oh no, Julian Smith looks to have lost a ski. That explains why he is double pulling on one foot. Excellent balance. Unfortunate to have that happen, though. Very, very sad to have lost a ski. We don't know if it is broken. Bindings sometimes break when people fall, so we will find out what happened to him. But in the meantime, we will talk a little bit about the women's semifinals coming up, because those are our next heats. In the first semi, we have bib 31, Olivia Bouffard-Nesbitt, our top qualifier. Bib 34, Amelia Wells. Bib 35, Katie Weaver. 37, Anna Stewart. And bib 50, Leah Wrights. But we still are missing our first lucky loser. We don't have that updated quite yet up here in the booth, but we will let you know as soon as we have it. Oh, and it seems to be Bronwyn Williams, bib 38. So the way the heats work is that the heat from the quarterfinals, you have the top 2 finishers will advance to the first semifinal. The top 2 finishers of the second quarterfinal will also be in the first semifinal. The top 2 of the fourth quarterfinal will be in the second semifinal.
2 minutes au départ, prochain départ, 2 minutes the next start.
And I think we could add to that. That's perfect, and it keeps all of us in line. But you could figure out whatever quarterfinal it is. Like say this is whatever heat number, whatever.
Okay.
If you can you square that or if not, just do the time. But it would be good to say we are on heat whatever, 2 minutes to start.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say 2 minutes. I can tell you what the next thing is.
That'd be
Yeah,
perfect.
okay,
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Okay, who are these guys? These are Olivia Bouffard and whatnot. Yeah.
They're just starting first semifinal.
I think that's done.
That's done?
I think so. I think it's just
Yeah,
or something like that, or just elimination and qualification.
okay.
The latest I saw didn't have semifinals and quarterfinals anymore.
Okay.
But as we discussed coming out here, like Joe Blow in Calgary's going elimination. What the hell's that?
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know.
It's got to be
So it's
sort
gotta
of
be-
lay
yeah,
term sort of thing, eh?
Yeah.
I think I just confuse people to explain how it works, and I just like, so what happens to the rest?
So pick up where I left off.
Well, if we had a little more time, like there's stuff like the lucky loser thing. There's probably volunteers helping them start. They have no clue what the hell it's all about.
It's funny at nationals at this part of the year, you think athletes should know, and like it should be very smooth.
Yeah.
And we're off for our first senior women's semi-final. And our first message is to Leah Wrights from Mom, Dad, and the crew. Let's go, Leah. Up, up, up. Have a good race.
So our starters in this heat, Olivia Bouffard-Nesbet, Amelia Wells, Katie Weaver, Anna Stewart, Leah Reitz, who just received that message, and Bronwyn Williams.
Yeah, and it sounded like we had Olivia and Katie Weaver leading up Berry Hill.
Bib 35, Katie Weaver, and bib number 34, Amelia Wells, leading up the Berries Hill, and followed very closely by Olivia Bouffard-Nesbit.
So that's our first bit of feed at about the 300-meter mark, and we will be watching these skiers as they proceed around the 1,300-meter course. The next bit of feed we're going to get is as they just head over the brow of the hill to head down the Toilet Bowl downhill.
If we want to talk about fun Lappy names, they also crest over the hill Humpty Dumpty as well, Jim. There's lots of fun names here at Lappy.
Now Humpty Dumpty is not on this course, though, is it? Or am I mistaken?
They do cross the Humpty Dumpty uphill just a little bit. They go on it for about 3 meters, but it's still fun to mention because
Yes.
what a great name.
Yeah, what a great name. It's an interesting ski area because it's actually a tiny ski area, but man, it packs a lot into a small area.
And we see them coming to the bottom of pylons right now. And so let's talk about the second semifinal before the start goes. It will be bib 32, Sonia Smith, bib 33, Marielle Ackerman, bib 36, Michaela Keller-Miller, bib 39, Marley Molinaro, who we saw do that great lunge earlier, bib 43, Natalie Wilkie, bib 42, Alexandra Luxmore.
So here they come up the climb, just like all of the other heats, all bunched together. I would say 2 abreast as they come up the climb, sort of two rows of 3. And they're just about to complete the very steepest portion. It kind of tapers off just a touch, and then we'll get some feed again at about the 900,000 meter mark on this 1,300 meter course.
2 minutes au prochain départ, 2 minutes to the next start, senior women.
Because if the starters need that much time or that much preparation, just give them more time.
Well, you know what?
34.
It'd be good to get feedback from them to see if they're getting enough time now from the pauses, right? If that, no, we haven't heard any complaints, but is it too much? Is it too much?
Pushing our limits?
Yeah, like we could go a minute and a half.
This is going to be close. Are we watching?
Yeah, let's get it.
31
Let's
was
get it.
31 and who's
31 and
35?
31, 35, both abreast,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and 34
Yeah.
right
31,
behind.
35,
It's just like the feed,
37.
exactly according to the feed we got.
35, 34, 37, and
Yeah.
38.
Yeah, you know what? Like we're doing a live streaming, tons of resources going into it, and then let's not announce it. No, seriously, like, why are we doing a live stream? To spread the word about skiing.
Yeah.
How the hell are you going to spread the word about skiing if
Can't say a word.
and if they won't give us enough slack in the system, like how would that make it an hour longer a day? 45
We'll have to
minutes?
figure it out because we have sprints tomorrow. We have
Yeah.
sprints
Or they could start a little bit earlier than 10 because we started at 10 today, right?
Yeah.
So if they need
And our second semifinal for the senior women is underway. Let's talk a little bit about the first semifinal, Jim, and the results there. It looked quite tight.
So in that first semifinal, number 1 was Olivia Bouffard-Nesbet, and then number 2 was Katie Weaver, and number 3 was Amelia Wells.
And we had bib 42 and bib 39 leading this current semifinal. So that's Marley Molinaro in bib 39 and Alexander Luxmore, bib 42, currently leading the women's field. And let's talk a little bit about what we see athletes do between their heats. We see them often ski right through the ski pen and finish just to keep their skis on. And then what do? They usually hand them to their techs.
Yeah, and the techs are playing a big role. They can either put another top coat on, but lots of brushing. I think they take the skis and they make sure that they brush out any residue in the grooves and the structure of the ski, so that they're running as fast as possible for the next semifinal or heat that they're in.
Yeah, techs are really crucial on the sprint days, especially classic sprint days. We're lucky enough to have a skate one today, so they just have to brush and put on a topper. And while the athletes just keep moving, they'll put on some layers because it's starting to snow and a little wind just to stay a little warm. They don't want to get cold at all, because if your muscles are cold and you're trying to sprint, well, that's a recipe for disaster, Jim. But yeah, so we just see them running around, doing some leg shakes. Some of them put music in to just kind of stay in the zone and not let any distractions bother them before their next heat. And so the next heat we have actually is the men's senior men's final. And who is going to be in our senior men's final, Jim?
So we're just pulling it up here, and a quick administrative note, because I was just handed a note from race office, and just a note to all of the volunteers. There's warm soup, hot soup up in the upstairs of the chalet, and also there's an outside window for the restaurant downstairs. There is an outside window. Feel free to use it.
In our next heat, which is our senior men's big final, we have Leo Granbois, bib 1, Erickson Moore, bib 2, Julian Locke, bib 3, Sasha Masson, bib 5, bib 11, Rye Pryor, and bib 7, Eric Schleider. So these will be our top 6 finishers today, and the last opportunity to get on the podium. Everybody will be fighting. This is it, the last heat, all out on the course. No more saving it. And we can see the women going up the pylons uphill right now. It looks like there's a string of 6 of them in a row. Not quite clear enough to see who is leading. We will give you the results as soon as we have them and as soon as we can.
36, 33, and 32.
2 minutes au prochain départ. 2 minutes to next start. Seniors men. Final.
Leo, Erickson, Julian, Sasha, Ryan, Eric. Granbois, Moore, Locke, Masson, Pryor, Schleider.
That was so amazing.
Oh, I missed it.
33, 33, 36, 39.
32 looked like it was.
33, 36, 39.
Yeah, but 36 and 32 were so close we couldn't tell. That was second. So
Shoot, I missed
those
that.
two, I don't know. So I don't know who won that. Who went into the next. Is it the top 3 or the top 2?
Top 2 and then the 2 best times. So odds are top 3 get it, but you never know. Okay, so what do we have? We have 10 minutes after this heat before our next one,
Okay, awesome.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have tons of time after this one.
This is the final.
This is the final for the men, and then we
Men's
have 10
10
minutes
minutes before the women.
before the women's
Okay.
final, so we have tons of time.
And the senior men's is, do you have a copy?
Senior men.
Oh, I have it here, yeah.
Yeah, because they're lining up.
Senior men,
They're lining up.
I did that presentation. But and we're off for our senior men's final. This is it. This is where all the medals are won. Podium places on the line. No more saving it. No more fun and games. This is it.
So, and those starters were?
We have Leo Granbois, bib 1, bib 2, Erickson Moore, bib 3, Julian Locke, bib 5, Sasha Masson, bib 11, Rye Pryor, bib 7, Eric Schleider. Bib 1 and 5 seem to be leading it off at the top of Berry Hill. That's Leo Granbois and Sasha Masson, 2 teammates from the Centre d'Entraînement Pierre Harvey. So we will see if they play any team tactics, if they've talked about it before the race. That's also a possibility to see if they could work together to get a best result possible for both of them. Or we'll see if they're just trying to stay out of the trouble again and take it off from the get-go. The previous heat, the women's semifinal, was very, very close. Let's talk a little bit about that, Jim. What do we have as the results right now for that second semifinal?
Yeah, so we had number 33 was the top skier in that previous heat. That's Marielle Ackerman. And then she was followed by 36, which is Michaela Kellermeller. And then 39, which is Marley Molinaro.
an announcement for Marley. Go Marley from a crew back home.
Excellent. Nice to get these shout outs coming in from across Canada, a couple coming in from USA as well.
And here we are. We're just going to cut through to the men's final because it's coming down to the hill. Still 5 of them, 6 of them all together. This is it. They're just cresting the steep pitch where it flattens out, and this is where it's really going to make a difference. Who has the energy left? Who has the legs and the will to break everybody on this climb?
Do you have any guesses there, Pierre?
It's always hard to bet against Bib 1 in the qualifier, showing that he was so strong this morning, Leo, and we'll see how he does, but he's always a very strong skate skier. Ericsson Moore, Bib 2, home advantage, and Julian Locke is always a great sprinter. He's always a wild card in there, not to say that he's not one of the favorites, but it looks like it is Leo Granbois leading it off. Julian Locke 2 skating behind him. Leo looks to have a big enough lead to be able to one skate smoothly and strongly into the finish. Leo is just ahead of Julian, and he will take his second championship title of the week. Julian Locke in second, Sasha Masson third, Ericsson Moore in fourth, Rye Pryor fifth, and that leaves Eric Schleider in sixth. Way to go, boys. That was a great final to watch, and they look tired. It's their 4th time around this course, as hard as they could, and they had to go as fast as possible.
So for any of the spectators, viewers online that kind of got lost in the fray, there was a whole bunch of heats there and whatnot. Let's recap. That was the final round, correct, Pierre? So we're down to that. That was the medal round. And to recap those top 3.
The top 3 were Leo Granbois taking the national title in first. We had Julian Locke in second from Blackjack Nordic. And then we had Sasha Masson from Whitehorse take the bronze medal. Really great showing from all 3 of those guys. Leo dominating all day from qualifier all the way to final.
And a reminder that those were our winners in the senior men's final. We still have our U20 finals coming, and the bibs are ready for pickup. So under 20 heats are ready for pickup.
We have the top 3 finishers currently taking a podium picture in the finish line corral.
So that's a good point, Brooke. Maybe we can back out to the 10,000 foot level. There's just so much stuff going on today. Viewers online, let alone volunteers standing beside the trail, are probably wondering, okay, where are we now in this whole process? So maybe let's take a sec to kind of remind the people tuning in here, where are we in this whole process now?
Okay, we're waiting pretty soon. We're going to have the final for the senior women's, which has our top 6 finalists, and I can get the names to you here shortly.
We have in the final, we have Bib 31, Olivia Bouffard-Nesbitt, Bib 33, Marielle Ackerman, Bib 35, Katie Weaver, 36, Michaela Keller-Miller, Bib 34, Amelia Wells, Bib 37, Anna Stewart. And so we have 5 Alberta World Cup Academy women and 1 American woman, Michaela, skiing out of the, I believe it's the Craftsbury Green Project team. And so very strong showing from the Alberta World Cup Academy for the women today.
And then when we finish that final for the senior women, we go into the heats for the under 20 categories. And again, we will be going through these the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals for that category.
So very briefly, next up, senior women, final.
Medal final, all for the medals.
All for the medals. That's where we're going. Time of day here in Thunder Bay is 1:18, actually 1:19 in the afternoon. The start time for this women's final medal round is
1:23, so we've got about 5 minutes.
So 5 minutes to go. So that's our focus, is the open women's final for the medals. Before we move on to Brooke,
the U20 men and then the U20 women.
So with this open women's class, we've got some skiers who would probably have some pretty good insight into what's going on here. Pierre Grawl-Johnson up in the announcing booth, Brooke Latimer. The list of names again, Olivia Bouffard-Nesbitt, Marielle Ackerman, Katie Weaver, Michaela Kellermiller, Amelia Wells, and Anna Stewart. So any thoughts, Brooke, on where we're at with this?
Well, I'm really excited to see Anna Stewart in the final there. Of course, a local name that we all recognize. So we'll really be rooting for her. And Michaela Kellermiller, I had the opportunity to ski with her in the Sleeping Giant Loppet just a couple weeks ago. So good for Michaela to be out here now sprinting on a 1.3K course instead of a 50K course. And of course, Olivia Bouffard-Nesbitt, we've seen on the World Cup and the World Championship. So, and Katie Weaver actually was in the Sleeping Giant Loppet as well. So we have some names that we recognize, and we can all cheer for them.
Katie also a part of the World Championships team as well. She also just did the sprint, tons of experience there. So it'll be very interesting to see everybody dueling it out. And Anna Stewart, a U20, getting all that experience, duking it out with the older women. So great to see this field about to go.
2 minutes au prochain départ, 2 minutes to next start.
I thought they were all together, and then she said U20's picking up bibs. I'm like, oh crap.
Well, it's weird, and I don't even know if you bother getting into it.
I was confused by Anna Stewart.
They had the option.
Yeah.
That's
to
right.
opt
So
in
we should
or
make.
Oh,
opt
okay,
out.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
There's a 17-minute gap in between
Okay,
this
good.
and
So
the
maybe we
next.
can
So
talk
Okay.
yeah,
about
you can recap.
We
it.
got
that.
time.
Yeah, the Anna Stewart part threw me. I thought they were all mixed in here,
Yeah.
but then I was like, oh.
No, it's
so
kind of
she
odd.
must
It's the
have
first.
opted
I
up.
believe it's the first time they've had the option to opt in or opt out. Earlier this year, they were just forced to race senior if they qualified senior,
Okay.
and then on the start list yesterday they had.
So in qualification, they all went together,
They all go together.
and then they look at times.
Yep.
And then if you qualified too high, you just automatically go up, and this time they opted.
You got a choice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got a choice.
Yeah.
So we literally have, like, after that next one, we got
17 minutes.
okay, we're in good
Or,
territory.
sorry, 15 minutes.
15?
because of the
Okay,
extra
yeah.
The 2-minute gap.
Okay.
I feel
15
like
and a half.
15 and a half. I feel like I want to go and ask them, is that too much time now that it's
Can we get a wave from the
narrowing down?
starters?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell us,
yeah.
can I do that? I'll run out out there once this is done.
Yeah, just to test it.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, I can go.
Do it diplomatically.
I've got
the window.
17.
Are you going, like, right outside? Is that what you're
Yeah,
doing?
I thought I'd go right outside
Okay.
and say, hey, do we give you enough of a gap?
Do me a favor then. See this gentleman right here? He's got the. He's
describe it.
sitting beside the juice thing there.
Yes.
Okay, that guy was the chair of the World Championships in Thunder Bay.
Okay.
And I already talked to him this morning. Asked him if he's got a couple secs to come up here, and
Okay.
he wants to talk about the legacy and whatnot.
To get into
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
And we're off for the senior women's big final. All for the medals. All 6 of them look to be off cleanly right now. Bib 34 is leading up Barry Hill, our first little climb about 300 meters out of the stadium. That is Amelia Wells.
Senior women's final here, going for the medals.
Let's talk a little bit about this field. We have, like we said, Olivia and Katie just coming back from the World Championships team. And then we have Amelia, who had a very good race yesterday, very strong skate skier. Marielle, an excellent sprinter, also on the national team. I don't think we could determine a favorite right now.
No, and Olivia, of course, top qualifiers. So it's going to be almost too close to call. I'm really anxious to see who comes around first at the bottom of the toilet bowl for positioning, and then we'll get our updates from Pilon so we can let you know who's going to come over that hill first into the finish. Hopefully it's a tight finish and we can cheer them on right to the end.
Yeah, it's been great to see that the women's have had tight finishes today. It's almost looked like they've had to lunge more than the men.
Yeah, we've had 2 close photo finishes for qualifying. So these women are tight, and we are seeing action right now. They're all tight going down the hill, going down the toilet bowl around the corner. So it will be a tight start to the Pilon's uphill.
And if listeners online didn't catch on to the local lingo yet, I think you've got it here. So that Berry Hill is about 300 meters from the start where we get some feed. Toilet bowl, what would you say? How many meters out on the 1,300 meter course, Brooke?
It's about halfway, so about 600 meters.
Okay, and then we finally get some feed at about, say, the 1,000 meter mark out of this 1,300 meter course.
And they just crested the first pitch of pylons, still all together. We will see them come into the stadium in about 45 seconds here. We'll let you know who is leading at the top of the hill where we have our next time split.
Women's final for the gold, silver, and bronze medals in the Ski Nationals 2023 Open Women's category.
And we do have a leader out in front. A little bit hard to tell who it was, but it was in an academy suit.
It looks like all 5 academy suits are leading, and the Grafsbury suit is right now in 5th or 6th. So we will see what happens in this second part of the climb.
31, 37,
Olivia Buffard is leading
We
into
have-
the stadium.
Bib 37, Anna Stewart in there. Bib 33, Marielle Ackerman. But here they come into the finish. Olivia free skating with a little bit of a gap. She's going to want to finish strong. In second, it's hard to see, but it looks like it's a battle between Katie Weaver and Anna Stewart. But Anna Stewart looking to have a little bit
So
of an
your
edge.
winner, Olivia Buffard Nesbitt.
Oh, what a
and
finish for
Finish
second.
for second place. Great race from Anna Stewart. Local hero here.
Very impressive race from all of them. Anna Stewart, a U20, getting onto the senior women's podium. It's going to be a photo finish.
And Katie Weaver in that photo finish. So really exciting.
And it looks like we had Marielle Ackerman in 4th, and then 5th and 6th. We're still determining that with the live results.
So let's recap really clearly. 1, 2, and 3, gold, silver, bronze are.
We have the gold for sure. It's going to be Olivia Buffard Nesbitt. We're still waiting up here in the booth for the silver and bronze. It will be between Katie Weaver and Anna Stewart. All 3 Academy women getting on the podium today. So really, really great showing.
And Academy, Pierre, you're talking about Alberta World Cup Academy.
Yes, one of the 3 training centers in Canada, the Alberta World Cup Academy, has a great women's team this year, large team based out of Canmore, Alberta.
And now it looks like we'll have a little bit of a break here. You can see all the spectators coming in before we start the heats for the U20 men. So this is an opportunity to warm up, come inside, get a little bit to eat, and then we'll be out to start the heats at 1:40.
Thank you, Brooke. And anybody who is volunteering, of course, you are welcome to come upstairs in the chalet. There is hot soup on, coffee, tea. Anybody purchasing things at the restaurant downstairs, keep in mind that there is an outdoor window as well. So you can proceed to the outdoor window if things are looking a little full inside, just to kind of split the traffic flow a little bit.
And so we have a quick break here. Coaches, volunteers, and athletes will be able to come inside, take a little break from the cold weather, while the U20s will be out warming up on the warm-up trails, getting ready for their heats starting at 1:40. And so we have confirmation of the results up here. Olivia Buffard Nesbitt taking gold, Anna Stewart taking silver, and Katie Weaver taking a bronze medal at this year's national championships. Way to go, ladies.
So I think the basic concept is, like, I know we're muting it and whatever, but I think the thing to keep in mind is if you say it, like just say it. None of the whispering in the background.
Yeah, but
Like muted is muted as far as I know. This is my son. I don't think he's talking about when it's muted.
Okay.
But we're whispering and banter in the background. I guess he's picking up. I know. Yeah. No.
It's been so short.
Right. I reviewed a couple of clips from yesterday, and sounded awesome. And then it kept going on. You can hear the whisper. Anyways, I don't this is like a bona fide viewer saying.
So is that only muted though to there, and they're hearing this?
No, they would have said something because they would have heard. By the time we,
I don't think so.
I'm wondering.
What did that say?
It says we're hearing your conversations on the stream when you're not
But also-
announcing.
oh, maybe because look, you can see the live stream. You can see the
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can see us talking right now. So,
Okay. Well
so
then,
this is being.
we're
That's okay. We haven't said anything.
Yeah.
incriminating.
we're
No,
we're
I
live, guys. We're
Well,
live.
the
Yeah.
Academy team.
So
Oh, that's a cool picture.
whoa, that is amazing. So who we looking at here? I don't know if they maybe on a bit of the feed they're picking up a view of this, but who are those skiers out there?
It's a large contingency of the Alberta Wood Academy women's team all celebrating together. Great to have team atmosphere. That really is good to see that everybody's all together and supporting their teammates' success. It's really great to see that around Canada.
Yeah, that is just awesome. So, Brooke and Pierre, what do you think? Here we are, day 2 of this event. We're well into the sprints, and I'm thinking stuff is going pretty well.
Yeah, so far it seems to be a great championships. Obviously, Lappy, great host for lots of events on such a good facility too. They do such a good job, and so many volunteers out here. Such a great ski community in Thunder Bay, helping with this whole event.
Yeah, I think the course has been fantastic. I think probably some are thinking that maybe a bit chilly for March with the 50K winds out there, but I mean, pretty ideal for waxing, pretty straightforward for the glide. And I think that the athletes have been, we have very experienced athletes here for the nationals, and they know how to handle the cold in between the heats and the finals. So everyone seemed to have gotten through unscathed, and we're looking forward to those U20s now coming out and competing for medals in that category.
And also just a reminder to the U20s, it is also bib pickup at the start next to the whiteboard before you go into the start corral. And a good idea to pick up your bib more than 1 minute before you start. Give everybody enough time to settle it in and calm starts for everybody.
So just to keep us on track here, just looking at where we are in the whole process again. Anybody just joining us or kind of lost in the fray here? We are moving on to the under 20 men, and they are starting at 1:40. That is 8 minutes from now, and we are going to douse the announcing at about 2 minutes to this next start at 13:40 or 1:40. So roughly 8 minutes to our next start, and those starters are, I think those are Remy Bollard, Charles Olivier Lacher, Jake Littlejohn, Justin Chartrand, Adam Walker, and Noah Connell. So that will be the first heat that goes out, and again, that is the under 20 men, and there are what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 6 skiers. That's round 1, or what they refer to as the quarterfinals. The top 2 skiers from each of those groups of 6 will proceed to the next round. So the top 2 skiers from 6 groups of skiers makes 12 skiers, 2 groups of 6, into the next round. Have I got that correct?
Quite close. Actually, it's 5 groups of skiers
Yeah,
with top
sorry,
2,
5.
so that makes 10. And then the next 2 spots, so the final 2 spots for our semifinals, are filled by what we call lucky losers. So lucky losers on sprint days are actually based on the heat times. So it'll be the fastest times from the 3rd place finishers from each of those 5 heats will move on. So the top 2 fastest times from any of those quarterfinals will move on. So it could be bib 3 or place 3 and 4 from heat 1, could be place 3 from heat 2 and 3 from heat 5, and it could be place 3 or place 4 from heat 3, for example. It is the top 2 times out of place 3 and 4 from any of those quarterfinals.
Everybody clear on that?
It's a little complicated, and we can clarify a little bit later. And
Yeah. No, Pierre, excellent job. It's kind of difficult to explain this. upcoming 3 rounds. First is kind of a preliminary sprint. Then is a few less skiers in a semi-final sprint. And then 6 skiers do the final sprint for the medals.
Yeah, so what we'll see in the quarterfinals is our top 30 qualifiers. So this morning we had what we call the qualifier event or a time trial, where each athlete does the course individually as fast as they can, and the top 30 times get ranked and then put into heats. So this is the quarterfinals are actually the second time that these athletes will go around this course. First time they'll go around it in a heat, and it is the first time they go around it in a group of 6.
So a question I have is, do the athletes, when they're in their heat, have that lucky loser in the back of their head, or are they trying to push as hard as they can to get the fastest time?
It depends on everybody's strategy. Sometimes you'll have heats that are controlled by some people who want to slow it down because they know that their strengths are the finishing straight, so they'll want to slow down the race on the hill because they know that they can't maybe keep up to other athletes on the hill, and they'll do that. So it really plays out during the heat. Nobody's really going to go into it thinking, I want a lucky loser spot, because you're going to want to go for those top 2 spots.
But if you're seeing 2 people cross in front of you, you want to get there as fast as you can to make sure that your time potentially could get you into that final heat.
Exactly, that's exactly what it is. Bib.
5 minutes to next start, 5 minutes au prochain départ.
And so, yeah, we'll continue from that. The places 3 and 4 in every heat will want to push all the way to the finish line, because there's no guarantee that they're out, and there's always a possibility that they could qualify onto the next round. So yes, when you are in 3rd or 4th and 2 athletes have already crossed the line, it is very, very important to ski as hard as you can to the line and give a good lunge, because it really comes down to it.
And then another quick question, Pierre, I had was, I saw Anna Stewart, who won the U20 yesterday, just finishing in the senior women's. Why was she in the senior women's when we have a U20 event happening here shortly for women?
Yeah, so for this event in particular today at Nationals, the U20s, since the qualifier is done all together, seniors and U20 athletes, they get ranked all together. And so this U20 athletes had the opportunity and the choice to opt into racing with the seniors in the heats, or opt out and race with the U20 heats. So that is an option for the U20s who qualified in the top 30 senior. They had the option today to race senior and get a little bit more opportunity if they seem to be dominating the U20 heats and get a little bit of a more competitive field. They were allowed to do that. And so our first heat for the U20 men is going to be bib 101, Rémi Borard, bib 110, Charles Olivier, bib 111, Jake Littlejohn. And we want to give a little shout out to Jake Littlejohn. Let's go south of 7 from Uniondale and Medina. Bib 120, Justin Chartrand. Bib 121, Adam Walker. And bib 130, Noah Connell.
2 minutes to start, 2 minutes au prochain départ. U20 men.
And just a little reminder, we will stop talking 2 minutes before each start to give the starters enough time to tell the athletes what to do and give them their instructions.
She said 2 minutes is perfect. Sometimes it's a little bit too much, but they need to have that time because, and they said competition between the award ceremonies is also interfering with their marshalling athletes. So
Can we ask them not to do the awards for the men, or for the seniors before the U20?
before as people are coming in, because it's so confusing.
I bet you they will, though.
They are. I think they're doing it at 145.
Right in the middle.
Yesterday they did them right in the middle of
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Middle of
yeah,
everything. Oh.
yeah.
Oh,
You guys are doing great. You are.
Wow, they just
well, what we can do, and everyone's listening to us right now.
Actually, we haven't confirmed that yet, but we think that they can still hear us on the live stream.
We can,
Yeah.
I know.
We haven't quite confirmed that yet.
Sorry, everybody.
So if you can hear us, we're just waiting because the starters need the time to give the instructions.
Right.
For example, the instructions of where to place your boots, where to place your poles, when to go. And we are off for our first U20 men's quarter final. They are just about to get to the first Berry Hill. And we have bib 101 and 110 currently leading the race. That is Rémi Borard and Charles Olivier. U20 heats are always fascinating. They are athletes who may not have as much experience as the open senior men's. So there are obviously different tactics. They're trying new things. They're trying things that have worked in the past on different courses. But it's just, again, it's a quarterfinal, so it is still a trial run for everybody in the tactics of the heat.
And the next heat in the U20 men is 104 Noah Weir Chaba, 107 Vincent Alexis Gregoire, 114 Alexander Betronon, 117 Patrick Wiss, 124 Isaac Wilkie, and 127 Oliver Burazene. And we see the first heat heading down our famous toilet bowl downhill. And they're going to be coming around the very bottom and heading up the first steep pitch of the Pilons uphill momentarily. And there's 2 out ahead. We can't identify them yet. So they're a little bit more spread out than the senior men were at this point in time.
And it's great for the U20s also to have been able to watch the senior men go and senior women go through their heats, get a little bit of an idea of how the course plays out, how the tactics work, where big gaps are made, and where you really want to make sure that you don't step on anybody's skis or get your poles broken.
2 minutes to the next start. 2 minutes au prochain départ.
And we're off. Heat number 2 is underway. And let's talk a little bit about our first heat and the finishes there.
First in heat number 1 was bib number 101, Remy Boyard, and second was 111, Jake Littlejohn, and third was 110, Charles Olivier Lachey, and he may get lucky loser.
We've just heard confirmation that bib 104, that is Noah Weir Chaba, leading the second quarterfinal. We will see how the times compare when when they cross the line.
So that feed was from Berry Hill again, roughly 300 meters into the course. And a big shout out to all the members of our announcing team, most of whom are outside providing feed for us from the trails.
And let's introduce heat number 3 while we have the time. 105, Ian Mayer. 106, Garrett Seaver. 115, Luke Pollux. 116, Jérôme Lafrenière. 125, Johan Taylor Gregg. And 126, Ethan Arts. And Ethan, let's go south of 7 from Uniondale and Medina.
And we have a shout out coming in for a gentleman who's helping out here today. I can see him clearly on the stadium. Gentleman by the name of Bob Edwards. And Bob was the chair of the World Ski Championship organizing committee years ago when the World Ski Championships were held here in Thunder Bay. Bob is presently a pretty busy guy because still years later, after the 1995 World Ski Championships, he's still helping out and supporting skiing. Would have loved to have talked to him, but big shout out to Bob for all of his efforts bringing the World Ski Championships to Thunder Bay in 1995.
And here we are with the second quarterfinal, just cresting the steep pitch of P-lines. We shall be seeing them momentarily.
2 minutes to start. 2 minutes au prochain départ. U20 men's third quarterfinal.
And we're off. The third quarterfinal for the U20 men's. Let's talk a little bit about the previous heats results. Quarter 2, it was very tight. 3 skiers all at the line at the same time, all lunging for that top spot. We had bib 114, 104, and 107 cross the line. Very tight in the quarterfinal number 2. We're still waiting up here in a booth for the confirmation of the results. The top 2 and then possibly lucky loser coming out of that heat. They're all very tight.
And in heat number 3, U20 men at the top of Barry's Hill, 105, Ian Mayer, and 115, Luke Pollock were leading out the start.
Great to see the crowd making its way back into the stadium as the U20 heats get underway. Everybody's gone inside, grabbed a quick snack, warmed up a little bit, and now we're back.
And just while there's a quick break in the action, a shout out to Ari Hautala, Thunder Bay skier. He was carrying the Prince Edward Island flag in the opening ceremonies at the Canada Winter Games, and his grandma is tuning in with a shout out to Ari Hautala, who attended the recent Canada Winter Games in Prince Edward Island.
We see 2 skiers just off the front going down the toilet bowl right now. We're waiting to get a feed at the bottom of P-lawns. Here we go, pack of 3 right now, starting the steep pitch of pylons. We see them hopping into the offset technique to climb as efficiently and as fast as possible.
Deux minutes au prochain départ, 2 minutes to the next start.
Our next heat is going to be U20 men's quarterfinal heat number 4. We have 102 Isaac Fortin, 109 Summer Cotton, 112 Gregory Baxter, 119 Theodore Outram, and 122 Thomas Boutet, and 129 Skylar Sam. And we're off. Quarterfinal number 4 is on course.
And a recap of Heat 3, 105, Ian Mayer was first, 115, Luke Pollock was second, and 125, Johan Taylor Gregg was third.
Theodore Outram seems to be leading the current quarterfinal number 4 with Isaac Fortin right behind him, but still quite close as we go up and over Barry Hill.
It's good to see our spectators coming into the stadium and lining the sledding hill, we call it, the hill right beside Barry's Hill. They're all headed up there, and you'll see them all go up for the start and all come down for the finish. So it's fun to watch the spectators doing their hill repeats today.
Yeah, like we said, Lappy is a great course for spectators. So many twisty turns that overlap, so spectators, even on the distance races, can really see them multiple times from one viewing spot.
Yeah, yesterday it was really nice to see the courses coming in through the stadium, going right in front of center stage, which helps both the athletes and the spectators stay in touch throughout the race.
So let's clarify. We are on round what? Quarterfinal what?
Quarterfinal number 4 of the U20 men. So we have one more quarterfinal after this, and then we get on to the U20 women's race.
So quarterfinal number 4, skiers on the course, and here they come, up the pylons climb, and they're separated out just a bit on this heat, but 2 rows of skiers making that climb, just a dancing up that climb, but really feeling the pain, I'm sure, as it just tapers off a little towards the top of the hill there, Pierre.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about, let's introduce the quarterfinal heat number 5 while we still have a little bit of time. 103, Alexandre Bourque, 108, Philippe Beguin, 113, Antoine Nicole, 118, Julien Audet-Welk, 123, Jules Saint-Jean, and 128, Odin Witso. So that will be our quarterfinal number 5.
Less than 2 minutes to start, 2 minutes au prochain départ.
Our fifth and final quarterfinal for the U20 men's is underway.
And recapping quarterfinal number 4 finish, 102 Isaac Fortin was first. And it was very, very close between 119 Theodore Okram and 122 Thomas Boutte. Those two was a photo finish. Hopefully one of them gets in as lucky loser.
And then in this heat that is currently out on course, at the 300 meter mark out of 1,300 meters, we have Alexandra Bourdin 103 leading, and then Antoine Nicole in second place. That's at 300 meters out of 1,300 meters.
So still early in a race, tons of space to pass and tons of time to defend your positions. We will see when they come around the toilet bowl downhill if the positions have changed and how the race is looking.
And we have the first semifinal determined. Remy Bouard, Noah Weir Shaba, Vincent Alexis Morin, and Jake Littlejohn. Those are going to be your first semifinal heat in the U20 men.
The current fifth quarterfinal is just reaching the bottom of the pylons downhill. And in the meantime, let's introduce the first quarterfinal for the women's. We have bib 140, Erin Dunn, bib 141, Florence Lecourt, bib 150, Aneve Buell, and bib 151, Ella Tucker. Lots of athletes out there today. I assume the younger athletes who will be racing tomorrow are out to watch the races today, get a little bit of a perspective of how the course is skiing.
Yeah, so tomorrow we will be into the junior sprints. In general terms, we're into the senior sprints today. Tomorrow, junior sprints.
2 minutes to start to U20 women's quarterfinal 1.
2 minutes au prochain départ.
And we're off for the first quarterfinal for the U20 women.
And recapping quarterfinal number 5 for the U20 men was 103 Alexander Bork, number 113 Antoine Nicole, and 123 Jules St. Jean. So those were your 3 top finishers in the U20 men quarterfinal 5.
Yeah, so our quarterfinals for the U20 men are completed. We should be getting the semifinal listings momentarily. If you are in the stadium and on site, you can look at the screen to the right of the stage, has the live feed of the results. If not, we will keep you updated. There should also be a board being updated by the start for the athletes who want to see that. That's the starters doing that for their ease of lists and for the athletes as well. Let's introduce the quarterfinal number 2 for the U20 women. We have bib 134 Virginie Magnan. We have bib 137 Tabitha Williams, bib 144 Jenna Price, and bib 147 Sophia Marshall. Some of you may be wondering why we have less than 6 athletes in these heats. It's because we unfortunately do not have 30 women to fill in the U20 heats, some of them having raced up and some not starting. So we only have a certain amount of people, so they had to, they didn't have to, but it's just the heats don't fill up. So we have some heats with 4, some heats with 5, but the rules stay the same. Top 2 go through, and then the next 2 fastest times from either heat, any heat. The heat is currently at the bottom of pylons. They look pretty grouped up. It looks like 3 women all together going up the steep pitch, and 1 athlete about a few meters behind. It's not over for anybody. It is such a long hill that anything could happen. So
2 minutes au prochain départ. 2 minutes to the next start.
Okay, and they're off. That's quarterfinal number 2 off and started. And quarterfinal number 1 results. Number 141 was Florence Lecour. Second was Erin Dunn, and third was Anive Abul. Those were your top finishers in.
So let's just take a minute to look at the men's semifinals. Semifinal number 1, we have 101 Rémi Borard, 104 Noah Wershaba, 105 Ian Mayer, 107 Vincent Alexis Grégoire, 111 Jake Littlejohn, and 117 Patrick Wiss. So that will be the first men's semifinal that goes at 2:20, so in 16 minutes. The second semifinal is Isaac Fortin, bib 102. Bib 103 is Alexandre Bourque. Bib 113, Antoine Nicole. Bib 115, Luke Pollux. Bib 119, Theodore Okrim. Bib 114, Alexander Bertoneau. Women's U20 quarterfinal number 3 is the next one to start. Bib 135, Maud Mulga. Bib 136, Romy Sinot. Bib 145, Greta Leithizer. Bib 146, Catherine McIntosh. We are still waiting for the current quarterfinal to reach. Oh, and here they are, just going over the little bump on the downhill towards pylons. We will get another feed when they reach the bottom of pylons.
And they're coming around the corner at the bottom of the toilet bowl, heading up pylons, uphill. We have 2 out in front, kind of taking the lead. And we're getting very close to the next start for the U20 women.
2 minutes to next start, 2 minutes au prochain départ.
And we're off with U20 women's heat quarter number 3.
And quarterfinal 2 just crossed the line. Coming in first, 137, Tabitha Williams. And second was 134, Virginie Magna. And third was Jenna Price, 144. So hopefully Jenna can get the lucky loser spot.
And so we have 3 women in this quarterfinal, and 146. Catherine McIntosh is currently leading, going up Berry Hill, 300 meters from the start. Let's introduce quarterfinal number 4 while we're here. Bib 132, Kate Mason. Bib 139, Zara Butcher. Bib 142, Magali Tromp. Bib 149, Morgan Saint-Martin. Bib 152, Bella Mouchet. That'll be our quarterfinal number 4 for the U20 women. We are just waiting for the quarterfinal number 3 to reach the feed that we have on the downhill, and we will update you momentarily. They're just about to hit the bottom of the Pelons downhill. They've just come across the Humpty Dumpty's crest halfway down the downhill.
And here they are coming around the toilet bowl final turn, and they're pretty well grouped in this heat. And they're coming up the first steep pitch of Pelons, so they will be here shortly as quarterfinal 4 lines up.
2 minutes au prochain départ, 2 minutes until next start.
U20 women's heat number 4, quarterfinal number 4 is on course.
And recapping, heat number 3 was 135, Maud Molgat. Second was 136, Rami Sanat. And third was 146, Catherine McIntosh.
Let's introduce quarterfinal heat number 5 now. It's bib 133, Helen McCulloch. Bib 138, Sophia Wilson. Bib 143, Imogen Nadler-Smith. And bib 148, Kara Gordon. Special message for Kara. Mom and Dad, Katie Rose and Sola are cheering for you from the BC Salish Sea. And best of luck for your races. Current quarterfinal is just about to hit halfway mark on the downhill before they start to climb pylons. We will keep you updated.
We are standing at about -8 degrees centigrade. Great to have everybody aboard, both here on site and from across Canada and USA. We have an excellent day for racing. It's warmed up just a little in the afternoon, although there's a slight breeze blowing. Just great to have everybody tuning in. We appreciate the feedback from the online audience through Cheercast, which is available to interact with the racers, the volunteers at Canadian Ski Nationals 2023.ca engagement under the live stream page.
And here comes heat number 4 around the final bend of the toilet bowl, heading up the steep pitch of pylons. And there are 5 in this heat, so it's a bit more crowded than previous heats. And they're all kind of grouped together, spread almost 3 across pylons uphill. Exciting, so it should be a close finish.
2 minutes au prochain départ, 2 minutes to the next start.
U20 quarterfinal number 5 for the women's is underway. Quarterfinal number 4 just crossed the finish line. We will get those results as soon as we have them. Bib 133 and bib 143, Imogen Nadler-Smith and Helen McCulloch leading up the first hill, Barry Hill. It also looks like awards for the senior categories will be soon. People are gathering in front of the main stage, just waiting for them to begin with the ceremony.
And we have the U20 women's first semifinal announced. It's Maud Molgat, Tabitha Williams, Florence Lacour, Virginie Magna and Erin Dunn. That's your first semifinal, and semifinal number 2 is still being decided.
The women are approaching the bottom of the Pelons Hill, and a reminder that the next heat is the U20 men's first semifinal. That is our next heat, U20 men's first semifinal.
And the women are now at the bottom of Pelons, heading up the steep part of Pelons. 3 are grouped together. One's fallen a little bit off the pace, but they're 3 abreast coming up Pelons.
2 minutes to next start. 2 minutes au prochain départ.
And our first men's semifinal is underway.
And a quick recap of the last quarterfinal for the U20 women. First was 143 Imogen Nadersmith. Second was Helen McCullough. And third was Sophia Wilson.
And we have a crash on the Berry Hill bib 107. Vincent Alexis Grégoire taking a little tumble. Remy Pollard and Noah Wershaba seem to be free of any crashes and currently leading the race 300 meters into the race.
And we'll get another update at about the 900-meter mark, but currently one skier took a little tumble. Who was that again?
It was Vincent Alexis Grégoire taking a little tumble. Hopefully he can get back on. Still plenty of time. A little downhill. If he stays low, pushes into it, hopefully hop back onto the draft. Would we like to announce the women's second semifinal? It will be bib 132, Kate Mason.
Number 143, Imogen Nadersmith. Number 133, Helen McCullough. Number 136, Rami Sinat. And 139, Zara Butcher. And 138, Sophia Wilson. So that's your second semifinal for the U20 women.
And we got a message for Zara Butcher. Go, Zara, go from Larch Hills team back home.
Yeah, pretty cool to have these shout-outs coming in from across Canada. We've been absolutely flooded with them. Hundreds of people have joined this live cheercast, so we appreciate that. At the site here, we have skiers just lining the finishing chute here, waiting for these next skiers to come in, and they are close.
Yeah, they're just coming up the Pelons Hill. They've just crested the steep pitch, and now they're in the really tough, flatter area. Seems funny to say that, but it's the second part of the hill, and it's really, really tough. This is where the pack breaks up, and it looks like 3 skiers seem to be pulling away.
2 minutes to next start. 2 minutes au prochain départ. Merci.
And we're off. Semifinal number 2. Special shout out to Bib 113, Antoine Nicole. You can do it from your family. Have a good race.
And a recap of semifinal number 1, which was fairly close in the U20 men. At 101, Remy Billard won, and 104, Noah Weir Shaba was second, and hopefully lucky loser 117, Patrick Weiss was third.
Yeah, and so we have 103 and 119 leading the current second semifinal for the U20 men. Really great to see the crowds out there today. Always fun to see the recognizable teams out there with all their team jackets. Really looking like a great cheering squad out there.
And again, watching the spectators run down the sledding hill as they come to see the finishers coming in. And then they'll run back up for the U20 women who are going to be starting their semifinals soon.
The next heat will be at 2:30, which will be the U20 semifinal number 1 for the women. So we have about 5 minutes until the next semifinal from now.
And the first U20 men are coming around the corner here. This is semifinal number 2, and they just came down around the first corner around the Humpty Dumpty, and they'll be coming around the bottom of the toilet bowl right now. And there's one person a little bit in front leading. Can't identify who yet, so it'll keep us a mystery. And they're all coming up Pelons now, the steep part, in a group.
Yeah, and we have the times for semifinal number 1, and it seems to be our fastest heat of the day for the U20 men. So it'll be very interesting to see where the lucky loser times come from. But Bib 117 Patrick Weiss putting up a strong time for lucky loser positions. We will see where the second semifinal threads through, but we are currently looking at Patrick Weiss with a very strong chance of being lucky loser for the final. That is Bib 117.
And they're currently almost at the top of Pelons. We should get an update shortly. Look out, here they come through the stadium very shortly.
119, 103.
Theodore Okram is leading. He should be coming in right now. Here they come down the hill. It looks close.
Yeah, we have about 2 skiers going to duke it out for the top 2 positions. If they get a little look around their shoulder, they could see that they don't have to push too hard against each other, but make sure that they stay ahead of the third place skier, who is making a huge charge right now on the right-hand side of the trail. maybe not quite enough, but really good lunge for the lucky loser spot. It'll be tight between bib number 102 and 103.
119 crossed first, Theodore Okram, and 103, Alexandra
Bork.
Thank you.
Just waiting to see the lucky loser times for the U20 men. Then we will be able to determine our final. I can see Peter Millema giving us a little wave from the stadium. You can see him. He's wearing his really pointy red hat there, and with waving with local legend Alana McLean standing there. Great to see everybody out in large community in Thunder Bay. And also a little shout out to all the volunteers here doing a great job standing in the cold. If you are an athlete racing today and tomorrow or any time throughout this week, take time out of your day to thank all these volunteers because they're taking time out of their day to come help you out.
So the U20 women are coming in to start their semifinal heats. Semifinal number 1 for the women is 135 Maude Molgat, 137 Tabitha Williams, 141 Florence Lecoeur, 134 Virginie Magnan, 140 Erin Dunn, and 142 Magali Tremp.
2 minutes au prochain départ, 2 minutes to the next start.
And we're off. First U20 women's semifinal on course. All 6 of them look to be away smoothly. We'll get an update as we get to Berry Hill and the first little bottleneck. Bib 141, Florence Lecour, and Bib 137, Tabitha Williams, currently leading at the top of Berry Hill. We will give you an update when we get another split at the midway point of the downhill.
And in the next semifinal for U20 women, we have 132 Kate Mason, 143 Imogen Nannersmith, 133 Helen McCullough, 136 Romney Sinat, 139 Zara Boucher, and 138 Sophia Wilson. They're in your next semi-final heat for U20 women.
And another message for Zara. Go, Zara, go from her Larch Hills team back home. And we are currently out of the stadium, so we will be able to talk a little bit more on the live stream because the awards for the senior categories are underway. They are currently presenting the top qualifier cash prize for the senior categories. For the current women's semifinal, we are still waiting for them to get to the halfway point of the downhill, and we will update you when we have a little bit more. And it looks like the sun's trying to break out here, but we'll keep our fingers crossed to have a little bit of a more sunny afternoon as opposed to a windier and snowier first half of the day.
Oh, here comes the live stream, and they're already coming up Pilons uphill, and they're in a group. We have kind of separated. We'll give you an update on who's ahead as soon as they reach the top.
A little hard to pick out bib numbers, but we also have people trailside radioing in with bib numbers, so we should get a bib number 2 at the 1,000-meter mark in a few seconds.
Great to have these messages from back home, so keep them coming. We really appreciate it and love to give your shout-outs online. So please keep the messages coming. It's really great.
Cresting the top of Pilons uphill now. Our leaders are just heading over. We'll get an update, and they'll be coming into the stadium finish.
Looks pretty tight. Maybe we'll get another photo finish today. We will see when they crest over the hill. Looks like bib 137, 135, and 134 seem to be in the lead. They are coming into the finishing straight. That is Tabitha Williams currently leading. She will take this first semifinal. And, close finish between bib 135 and 134. We will wait for the photo finish confirmation of that result.
30 secondes au premier départ, 30 seconds till next start.
And we're off. Second semifinal is underway for the U20 women's. Just had a great first semifinal, and we will see what the times compare for the second semifinal. For those at home who don't necessarily know what a photo finish is, it's when it's too tight to be determined by regular chip timing, that they have to take a special photo at the finish line and enlarge it and be able to determine which boot crosses the finish line first. So that is what a photo finish is. It's when it needs extra technology and a special camera at the finish line to be able to distinguish the two skiers and determine which skier was ahead. Still waiting on the times for the first semifinal, as the second semifinal comes to the halfway point of the downhill, right over the Humpty Dumpty little bump there.
Okay, live stream is showing the second semifinal has rounded, of U20 women, has rounded the toilet bowl first turn, and we're going to come to the second at the low part of the course, and then they're going to be climbing up Pilons Hill. And it looks tight. Well, actually, one is broken away, and then it looks tight.
Yeah, not able to pick up bib numbers at this point as they rounded that curve at the bottom of the hill. Everybody just flying, but Pierre, they're climbing the hill, Pilons, the penultimate climb prior to the stadium, and one skier
tumble
down. We don't have a bib number there, but one skier, she was one of the leaders, is down and is now towards the back of the pack. We'll get some feed at the 1,000-meter mark in several seconds.
She must have looked like she caught her tip in the side of the trail's snow, and it pulled her around. That's too bad. You have to watch that when it is 3 abreast, but it got kind of tight in that pack there. Here they come up. They're almost to the top. They are very tight. This will be a tight finish for these U20 women. We'll get an update on who's leading. 4 in a very tight pack.
Yeah, it's going to be really great to see who crests the hill first. It's going to be really, really tough for all 4 of them. They're going to be pushing super hard. Great race by all of them. Here we go. They are cresting the Pilons Hill.
133, Helen McCullough is leading right now into the stadium. They're coming in now. We have sights on them. And the first top three are tight. So it's going to come down to, will be interesting. Remember, the first two go into the final, and then a lucky loser spot's possible.
133, 132.
Yeah, it looks like Helen McCullough, Imogen Naismith, and Kate Mason doing it out. But it looks like Helen McCullough is going to get the first spot. Kate Mason is going to get the second spot. And Imogen Naismith will be in third, hoping to get a lucky loser spot for the final.
And a reminder, already in the women's U20 final is Tabitha Williams and Virginie Magna. Those are the top two from the first semifinal, and we're waiting for lucky loser times.
For about 30 seconds to start of the U20 men's big final. And we're off for the U20 men's final. We have bib 101, Rémi Boilard, bib 103, Alexandre Bourque, bib 104, Noah Shaba, bib 119, Theodore Okrim, 117, Patrick Wiss, and 105, Ian Mayer. This is the final race for the U20 men. This is where the medals will be decided and for the national title. We have 101, Rémi Boilard leading up the first little bump, Barry Hill. We will keep you updated as we know more. This is the final for the U20 men.
And the sledding hill is swarming with spectators as they all fly down to see the final of the men's U20 sprint race here at Lappy Nordic Ski Center. And the crowds are lining the finish line. So we're all waiting for these U20 men to decide the medals today.
Medal round, here we go. And spectators just lining the course, Brooke. It's just incredible. And Pierre, you caught that feed earlier. We have people out on the trails providing us feed by radio. And that hill where the first feed comes from, people must be lining the course, because I was hearing all kinds of cheers in the background there as well.
Yeah, I mean, the first hill and the finish are so close together that it's really great to be able to run from one spot to the other to cheer on your teammates, because that's where they're really going to need it in the finishing straight when it all comes down to it, because we're just still waiting for them to, and here they are, about to start the Pilons uphill, the real big challenge in the course. This is where it'll be decided who can keep pace with whoever sets it. We are still waiting. Can't really quite see the bib numbers, but they look pretty grouped up.
U20 final for the men, and they're coming towards the top of Pilons. So they're moments away from coming into the stadium. We can give you updates on who is going to be contending for those top three podium spots.
Yeah, it looks like 5 of them grouped up, and just Patrick Wiss just falling off the pace slightly on the halfway point of Pilons uphill. Still plenty of race to go for all of those guys, so keep fighting, keep fighting. Oh, and down to 4 people are just falling off the pace. It is fast and furious.
101, Remy Boulard is leading currently into the stadium. We see him now.
Bib 104 and 105 are still with them. The top 3 seem to be clear of 4th place.
It's going to come down to a sprint finish here.
I have to push all the way in. Here they come. About 50 meters to go. Bib 101 still leading.
105.
Little look over his shoulder. Bib 104 looks to be in 2nd place, but it's going to be tight. Lunge for the finish. Photo finish between
101, Remy Boulard winning the U20 men category here at Lappy Nordic Ski Club.
They're exhausted. They have collapsed at the end of this sprint day. 4 times around this tough course, as hard as they could go. It is a brutal day.
And Pierre, do you see that Quebec flag waving there beside Remy? The crowd come over from Quebec here. All the participants to give them a cheer here. Just incredible.
Yeah, it's really great to see. We also have, for the nationals, we have aggregates for provincial and club points. So it's really great and important for everybody to do their best every day for club pride and provincial pride. So it's really great to see everybody out there cheering, people rushing to the finish line to congratulate their teammates and friends. And we have a little break right now. We have 10 minutes between the men's final and the women's final. So we've about 6 more minutes until the women's big final for the medals will start.
And the women in the final for the U20 are 133 Helen McCullough, 137 Tabitha Williams, 132 Kate Mason, 134 Virginie Magna, 135 Maude Molgat, and 143 Imogene Nadersmith. So those are your women in the final of the U20, and that's going in about 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, great group about to duel it out for the top 3 podium spots. So that concludes our U20 men's racing. We had 101 Remy Borard take the gold. Then we had bib 104 and 105. We still don't know here in the booth who took the lunge finish for the silver medal. But that is your podium, bib 101, 104, and 105. Ian Mayer, Norweer Shaba, and Remy Borard taking the national title.
And for those of you tuning in online, I know this isn't visible in our stream, but we have these top 3 under 20 men lined up near the start line, Quebec flag in front of them, holding up their skis, getting a couple of photos, and there's a really fun atmosphere here. And these gentlemen, again, that top 3, Pierre, they are really enjoying things now.
Yeah, really great for them. Nationals really means a lot, and it's really great to be on the top step of a national championship. Congrats to all the participants and to these 3.
Yeah, just a real fun atmosphere here today, and we thank all of the volunteers who helped put this event together. We thank our sponsors, 91.5 and CKPR Radio, who are our premier sponsors. We thank skiwax.ca, who is a sponsor of the day, as well as Secure Store, another sponsor of the day. Thanks, everybody. Thanks also to our online audience who tuned in and provided support through our Cheercast Live.
And we still have the women's final, U20 women's final. So still one very exciting race to come. And we will see who will be crowned national champion of the U20 women's category.
And a recap of the U20 men's final. We announced the winner, Remy Boulad. Second was Noah Weir-Shaba. And third was Ian Mayer. That was your podium for the U20 men's final in the 1.3K sprint free technique.
So about 4 minutes now still until the women's final. We start to see them starting to get to the start, taking off their down jackets, getting down to the skin suit and the bib so we can see the bib, and putting their skis in the start line. Let's talk a little bit about start line. Actually, we haven't talked about it today. There are 6 lanes, so each athlete gets their own lane, and the decision about who gets what lane is based on how well you did in the qualifier and how well you did in your previous heat. So if you win your previous heat, you get first or second pick at the lane in your following heat. So that is also an advantage sometimes to, if you have that in mind and it's just a little duel and you want to be a first pick for the following heat, you really want to win that quarterfinal or that semifinal, so you get first pick.
And what's a good pick? Middle, edge, or does it depend on the skier?
It depends on the course and it depends on the skier. A lot of times it's based on where the course will turn. If there's a right-hand turn right off the start, athletes will tend to go to the right. But more often than not, the top picks will pick the outside lanes just to stay out of a little bit of trouble. When you're in the middle, it can really get quite busy when we all start to skate outside of the double pole zone and people are a little frantic. So staying out of trouble is really important to start. That's where we see most of our poles break and most of our falls right on the start.
Okay, and we're watching the U20 women final line up. They start momentarily.
Yeah, great to see a wide variety of suits too. It's always fun to see people from all over the nation do well and have a good race and compete for national championship titles. It really helps the Canadian ski community progress, and really great to see it.
Yeah, just really interesting to get these shout-outs. One of the people that just tuned in on the live cast, a gentleman by the name of Al Maddox, really important figure in the World Championships here in Thunder Bay. Also went on to become an FIS delegate for Canada. He's tuning in from British Columbia, says hello to everybody and thanks for the great work.
We're about 30 seconds away from the final start of the U20 women's. The U20 women's final, 30 seconds away. All right, and we're off for our U20 women's final. For the medals, we are off, and they are just starting Berry Hill.
And for our online audience, just a quick note to our online audience, we were stopping the broadcast in respect of each of the starts, mass starts going out. And we will continue to do that, but only for a few seconds. We've worked something out on the technical side so we can just continue our broadcast, although it will be stopped to the stadium here locally. Online, it will continue.
Okay, and leading up the first hill was 137, Tabitha Williams in our U20 women's final. This is the decision maker for the medals for the U20 women's category. We're waiting to see when they go around the corner on the downhill by Humpty Dumpty. They haven't come into our view on the camera yet, so they're still up around the milk run, making their way around those corners.
And the crowds are out to cheer on all these women coming into the finish line. And I'm sure the uphill on Pilons has got a wide variety of coaches and teammates also helping them through the toughest part in the course. We're still waiting to get a feed of halfway down the bottom of Toilet Bowl. We will update you when we have that. And they should be, they're already at the bottom of Pilons Hill.
Yeah, we must have had a little lag in the feed here, but they're coming up the steep part of Pilons now, all abreast, all 3 rows. Luckily, we widened that Pilons uphill, and here they come, and it looks tight. Tight racing here for the medals for the U20 women's sprint final.
Yeah, it looks to be 2 rows of 3 abreast, which is not what we've had in a lot of races. It's usually been 3 rows of 2 side by side, but this is even tighter. It's 3 across the entire trail.
And now the decision maker, who has the endurance to keep up this sprint on the top portion of Pilons. They're all tight, but typically this is the decision maker who can come over the top and sustain it. 2 have kind of pulled away now, neck and neck. So we'll see who they are coming into the stadium.
Exactly, yeah. This is the point in the race today where it's really just about who can tell their legs to not hurt and who can just deal with the pain. This is a really, really tough part in the course. It's flat, but you haven't had any rest in about 45 seconds, and you're going as hard as you can.
And currently 135, Maude Molgat, and 132, Kate Mason are our leaders coming into the stadium. It looks like one is pulled ahead on the downhill and is free skating and has pretty much, if she can keep up this pace, has the win.
135, 132.
Yeah, we've been 135 charging hard for the finish line. It looks like she will get the national title. Yes, she will. And
Maude Molgat, our U20 national champion.
132 in second place is Kate Mason, and 137 Tabitha Williams taking the bronze medal. Congrats to all of these U20 women finishing off the final. There are top 6 exhausted.
It looks like this day of sprinting, how many times did they go up Talons? 4.
They've gone up the hill 4 times.
All out racing neck and neck is a really tough day of sprint racing. They'll need a day off tomorrow.
Sprint races really take it out of you. You spend lots of time outside in the cold, and you have to race 4 times around a pretty tough course. Sprint days are never easy.
So thank you to the entire announcing team. Thank you, Pierre Grawl Johnson. Thank you, Brooke Latimer, Nancy Bailey, Linda Boivin, Araldo Panizza, Henry Panizza, providing us feed. Thank you to the whole announcing team. Thank you especially to the skiers who completed that 1.3 kilometer course here a number of times today. Thank you so much for all of you attending here at Lappy from across Canada. Thank you to our sponsors, especially 91.5 and CKPR Radio here in Thunder Bay, our presenting sponsors. Thank you to skiwax.ca, our sponsor of the day, as well as Secure Store Trailers, our alternate sponsor of the day. And
Alors, on va commencer. We will start with the women. With the women. We do, yes. So in 5th place for the under-20 sprints today at the Canadian Nationals 2023, in 5th is Virginie Magnon de Quebec, Quebec. Woo! Yes, well done. Félicitations. Quatrième place, gagnée par Imogen Maldersmith, downtown Nordic, Manitoba. Imogen, come on up. Oh, yeah, I recommend the stairs. Sorry. No, you're good, right there, perfect. Congratulations, well done. The bronze won by Tabitha Williams of Canmore Nordic. There she is. Come on up. Tabitha Williams wins the bronze for the under 20 today at the sprints. Come on the stairs. Those are kind of deadly. Okay, you did it. Good. Congratulations. Well done. This Congratulations. And the gold won today by Maude Morgat of Whitehorse Ski Club in the Yukon. Congratulations. Woo. Oh, I forgot to mention the cheese. Congratulations à tous nos champions, winners today at the Nationals 2023. Well done. Bunch on up. Have your moment. Félicitations à tous. You guys are amazing. Well done. Great day of racing. Maintenant, on va célébrer les hommes, les gars, the men of the under 20 category for today's sprint races. In 5th, we have Theodore Ockrem of Team Hardwood, Ontario. Theo, are you here? Did we find him? We didn't find him, but we celebrate him. Well done, 5th place. Okay, 4th place, Alexandre Bourque. 4e de Montreuil Ski, Québec. Équipe de Québec. Bien fait. Yeah, right there. Perfect. Félicitations. Okay. place, Telemark Nordic BC's Ian Mayer. Well done. With a bronze at the Nationals 2023. The silver goes to Noah Weir Chapa from Canmore Nordic in Alberta. Well done. And Remy Bouillard wins the gold from Ski-Back Uski, Quebec. Well done, Remy. Voilà, et félicitations à tous nos gagnants. Well done, guys. A big round of applause. Champions at the 223 Nordic Championships, the Nationals. Woo! Woo! Félicitations. Well done. Oh. We have one more podium to do because Tabitha Williams is an international athlete. I have another person to name up on the fifth position for the Canadian podium. Is Helen McCullough here? Helen, come on up. You won. Fifth for the Canadians for the U20. Is she here? Well, she did great. Yay! And that means Imogen Nadler-Smith also wins a bronze under the Canadian category. Is she here? Yay! Okay, we gotta get you your medal. I don't know that I have it here, do I? That's okay. We'll get it. We'll get one. Yeah. We don't have it on the stage right now, but we'll get it. Okay. Perfect. And then that's the same, right? Imogen, and then we have Kate Mitsanya Simone. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for being a part of this. Merci à tous les bénévoles, à toutes les équipes, à tout le monde, les athlètes et le support de vos communautés that you are here as part of this national celebration. We'll be back to celebrate some more and race some more and cheer you all on tomorrow. À demain.